morning, Azeroth. Broadcasting live from the Trade District of Stormwind.
Hey, who rerouted an arcane relay through the coffee pot again?
Coffee's done.
Hang on. I think we got it.
This is Azeroth Morning Radio. Warcraft for the rest of us.
And good Tuesday morning. Welcome, everybody. This is Azeroth Morning Radio.
Greetings, traveler.
Folks, this show is for you, the 9-to-5er, the casual warrior, those of us playing on the weekends, parents who grew up playing World of Warcraft and you simply grew up. Well, welcome home, friends. We are your hosts. My name's Jibs, and I'm joined by Cash.
Why do we always have to grow up?
I don't know. I think it's overrated. I'm noticing more and more gray hairs in my beard. That's so much so that it's got a light sheen to it. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, come BlizzCon, when we show up, Jibs may be a little salt and pepper.
Oh, buddy, I think I passed up the salt and pepper part. And normally I have a pretty clean shaven face because of work. But man, when I am on my days off and I let that thing grow out,
yeah,
it's really gray. So, and it's not the age, baby. It's the miles.
That's right.
Wrong. It's the ugly.
It's experience, right? Some people say it's a crown of glory. Oh, so how's WoW been for you this week?
WoW has been not as much as I want it to be this week.
Uh-oh.
I had a real life square kick in the nuts for most of the week this week. But I still did get some playtime in. I just had a lot of stuff going on. As you know, I'm back in school, and that is taking a bit of time. So that obviously takes away from my WoW playtime. Took care of Dad this week a little bit. He had eye surgery this week, so I spent a couple days with him, just making sure he was good to go. And in the evenings, after I got everything done, I jumped into Warcraft and was able to, for the most part, especially after pre-patch hit. That was a late launch too, by the way, but they still were they give you updates on how they're pushing it forward. But when they say it's coming out, it usually, for the most part, they're pretty good about the timeline, about getting it online. So I did a lot of playing with the new UI features, and I have to say, I'm fairly impressed.
Yeah, buddy. We're going to be talking about that in this episode, that's for sure. We have both dove into pre-patch, and I got to tell you, there's a lot of fun things to talk about with it. This it's been a fun week for Warcraft, getting everything ready. My add-on is first off, I want to thank everybody who's downloaded Setlock, and also CurseForge for having it on their front page for Warcraft, because you guys, it's shocked me the numbers of people have downloaded it so far and are using it, and it's actively working, which is great. So it was a busy pre-patch morning, because I realized my add-on would no longer work at all in Warcraft until I went back and made necessary updates. So the updates were made and now it's working, and that was definitely part of my day. So yeah, had a great weekend in gaming, really just getting ready for pre-patch. It was kind of odd. It was in one of those weird spots where it's just I did feel for a little bit I don't know what to do with myself. I feel like I'm in a holding pattern a little bit, but also I'm just you ever feel like there's so many things you want to do in Warcraft that you don't know what to do in Warcraft?
Yes. I mean, I feel that every single time I log in, that's why I have to focus. I have to have a focus, but I don't know, maybe you were experiencing it a little bit late, but over the last couple of weeks, I've definitely been experiencing oh my God, when is this thing coming out?
Yeah,
for sure. Where I feel like I'm spinning my wheels, and that's probably why I paid so much attention to the auction house and selling items, and really making sure that my inventory was ready, and I purged old stuff, and man, I was back in Legion doing some things. But you know what I think the funny thing is, a lot of people in season 3, they just bail.
Yeah,
and they just stop playing until the new content comes out, and they jump back in. And I'm not that kind of a person. I'm definitely a one game guy. I'm fine with having an off game to play every once in a while, but right now I really don't have an off game. I just, my time's dwindling a little bit. So right now my time getting into Azeroth is precious to me, and I'm just making sure that I carve out some time every single day to do it so that I don't end up in one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Right. Yeah, it's and I tell you what, though. I know we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but boy, oh boy, post pre-patch, we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. This is not the same Warcraft we woke up to on Monday morning, as opposed to now. Here we are later in the week, and
yeah, we found that out last night, and yes, we're definitely going to talk about it.
Absolutely. Well, folks, thank you again so much for pushing play, hanging out with us here on the episode. Your feedback every week, your comments, your likes, and honestly, this sounds cheesy because the like and subscribe, but no, like the likes and subscribes and the comments that you guys are doing on YouTube, it doesn't go unnoticed, and we just thank you all so much. Everyone who's tuning in on podcast apps, we see you, and thank you so much for your just continued dedication to listen. Because this week on the show, folks, we're going to be talking in-game tributes. We're going to talk about the Twilight Ascension event. Yeah, baby. Continue our lore lesson series and our reactions to the first week of pre-patch. And all that starts right after the lore lesson. We'll be right back, folks. Before the cosmos learned to speak his name in mourning, Sargeras was its bulwark. Like all titans, he was born of a world soul, awakened within a drifting world in the great dark beyond. Among the pantheon of order, Sargeras rose as their mightiest warrior. He was given a clear charge: stand watch over what has been made. And when demons began to threaten the ordered worlds, it was Sargeras who was sent to meet them. He crossed the void between stars, drawn to places where reality had been torn open, where the twisting nether spilled into the physical universe. There, demons came in vast numbers, overwhelming entire worlds. For ages, Sargeras walked from one embattled planet to the next, standing between mortal life and ruin. He saw cities fall to ash. He saw people twisted into hateful, corrupted forms. Before this war, Sargeras had not believed such devastation possible. Yet the demons were undisciplined. They fought without unity. Again and again, Sargeras broke them. Victory followed victory. Then the pattern shifted. Some demons wielded a different power: cold, distant, and wrong. Void. Tracing its source, Sargeras became aware of greater forces moving unseen across the cosmos. Vast intelligences working beyond the veil of reality. The Void Lords. Their existence weighed upon him, but Sargeras did not abandon his post. He continued the war. While he fought, the Pantheon labored on. They searched the Great Dark for slumbering world souls, shaping new worlds from chaos. At times, Sargeras looked upon these young planets. Life took root there, whole and unbroken, and seeing it endure hardened his resolve to defend it. But the enemy did not fade. Sargeras began to recognize his foes. Demons he destroyed returned. When slain in the physical universe, their spirits fled back into the twisting nether, only to be reborn. Though he did not yet know how demons could be slain forever, one truth became clear. The war could not be won through destruction alone. The demons had to be bound. The Pantheon answered by sending another to his side, Agramar. Though young in battle, Agramar learned swiftly. He earned Sargeras' trust, and for many millennia they fought together, a shield wall against the endless tide. With Agramar holding the field, Sargeras turned his gaze inward, to the nether itself. He studied its chaos and learned to shape its volatile energies. From that knowledge, he forged a prison, Mardum, a sealed realm within the twisting nether. Demons cast into it did not return. As the prison filled, its fell energies grew so fierce that it burned across the great star like a distant star. And slowly, the war quieted. Demonic incursions became rare. Worlds shaped by the Pantheon prospered. Life endured. As the Pantheon continued their search for world souls, Sargeras and Agramar pressed on, until they agreed more worlds could be guarded apart than together. And so, they parted ways. It was then that Sargeras learned what the Void truly sought. In a remote reach of the Great Dark, he found a dead world steeped in Void energy. Across its surface lay immense beings embedded deep within the planet, the old gods. Beneath them, a world soul dreamed, but his dreams were twisted, smothered by shadow. Nathrezim dwelled there as well. Sargeras captured them and learned the truth. The Void Lords had sent the old gods to corrupt worlds that housed Titan world souls. If such corruption succeeded, the world soul would awaken as a dark Titan, an entity no power in creation could oppose. Sargeras acted. The world was destroyed. The old gods were annihilated. The nascent Titan died with them. Sargeras returned to the Pantheon and summoned Agramar. He spoke of what he had seen and what he had done. The Pantheon condemned his action, believing the world soul might have been saved. Arguments followed. Sargeras feared the corruption he had witnessed was not singular, that other world souls might already be lost. He came to believe that creation itself was flawed, and that only by purging all life could the Void Lords be denied their victory. The Pantheon rejected this belief. S.N.A.R. reminded him of their oath to preserve life. Even Agramar stood against him. So Sargeras turned away, and with that turning, the shield of creation was lowered, not by force, but by choice.
This is Draylon, and when I'm not pulling all the whelps, getting lost in a major city, or just relearning the game after a 15-plus year break, I'm listening to Azeroth Morning Radio.
All right, Draylon. Thank you so much, folks. Don't forget, again, you can always send us your AMR listener spotlights by emailing us at azerothmorningradio@gmail.com.
Is that a guy with a voice for radio or what?
I tell you, he could pass as the next Master Chief when the gentleman retires. Holy cow, that boy's got some.
Yeah.
Some people just got it, man. Like, they don't even have to work. They just talk. That man's got it.
I think when we both heard that, we were both like, whoa, that's a damn good radio voice.
Oh, man. I love to see that guy in some voiceovers for games. Woof. Goodness gracious. Anyway, folks, you can always email us your voiceover recordings. Tell us what you're doing or your name. And when you're not in Azeroth doing XYZ, you're listening to Azeroth Morning Radio. Play them right here live on the show. But it's time for the Hero's Call.
Heroes Call.
Friends and adventurers, I was doing some research for Heroes Call this week, and I found something that I had an idea was in the game. I just didn't know where it was, so I actually went out to go find this. But there's a really cool tribute, and it's been in the game for a long time at this point. It's a location that I have not gone to until this past week. But there is a tribute to Robin Williams in the game. And I know there's a lot of tributes to stars and celebrities and people in pop culture that have passed. And I love how World of Warcraft does this. But I actually went to go see the Robin Williams tribute this week. And if you haven't ever been there, it's quite easy to get to. It's in Nagrand on the small island. If you open up your map, it's like a little piece of paper that has drawings on it and it's geography and shows you where to go.
Yeah, use your big boy words.
It's a map, not a Mac. If you go to your map and open up, you can find the location called Gramashar. And it's on a small island just to the south of that. There's two islands down there. This is the smaller island, and that's where the Robin Williams tribute is. And when you go down there, you'll find, for those of you out there that are Gen X, or maybe you just like the older style sitcom shows, the ones that Gen X grew up with, there's a cracked egg there. And that's a reference to the old sitcom Mork and Mindy, which gave Robin Williams a lot of fame way back in the day. And man, I just remember sitting down and watching that show with my parents. It was super cool. There's some various toys on the ground, which are all references to his feature films, and one of which is a genie's lamp, which is reference to one of his biggest roles in Aladdin as the genie. So again, this particular tribute has been there for a long time, but it's definitely worth going down to take a look at it. And again, it's a testament to how Blizzard pays tribute to some of the people who've touched our lives in the entertainment space. And it really breaks that third wall and brings this kind of stuff into the game. So it crosses that barrier. And I've always loved it when games do stuff like that. So Robin Williams tribute in Nagrand. Go take a look.
That was the first celebrity that passed away that I truly was so sad. Like he meant a lot to me because I'll never forget being a young kid watching Mrs. Doubtfire. I felt different growing up anyway. Like I just felt like I never really had a place, like I didn't fit in anywhere. And when I saw him, and the very first scene to me ingrained in my head, he's doing voiceover work. And to me, it was like, it hit me as a child, like it's okay to be different. And I loved doing voices anyway. So of course, as soon as I finished watching that, I'm like practicing because that's what I want to do when I get older then at that point, right? But I'm just like, that he was the man that showed me it's okay to be different. It's okay to be funny. It's okay to be entertaining. And oh man, I love that they do stuff like this because it means a lot, you know? It's cool to see nods with NPC names, but it's definitely cool to see this tribute to him.
Yeah, it is. And we would be remiss if we didn't mention the importance of mental health, because obviously that played a big factor in his passing. And it is something that needs to be nurtured and recognized. And, people need to understand it's a real thing. There are some real issues out there that people have and they're dealing with on a daily basis. And it brings me right back to something that we've said on the show a lot. And is that on the other end of the screen is a real person, and you never know what people are dealing with. So if you find yourself, having those issues, seek help, seek ways to nurture and take care of yourself. And, your mental health is huge. It's very important. And if that includes logging into Warcraft for 10 minutes just to settle yourself, find time to do it. Make that time. It's super important.
Agreed.
Okay, this next one is super random, but I was browsing the Facebooks, and normally the stuff that ends up on my feed is super nerdy World of Warcraft stuff, and I am secure with myself, so I'm okay with it. But anyway, I found a post, and this one is on the World of Warcraft Facebook group, one of the World of Warcraft Facebook groups. Anyway, this one's from Steven Sissom. And he says, as the 12th expansion pre-patch looms in the distance, I just want to know, do you still have your first ever main? And he showcased this is mine, called Healthstones, which I thought was a really good name. And I do not know how you got that name. Well done. That character was born toward the end of Cataclysm in 2012. So I throw this question to you, Gibbles.
Nope.
At the rate that you level and homicide your characters into grisly deaths, do you still have your first ever tomb?
It bums me out every time I think about it because no, I don't. And I consider my first ever tune my Dwarf Hunter. My first real tune, because my really first foray into WoW was my Dwarf Hunter. If we were in Mog Nation at the time, you and I were in the MMO gaming community way back in 2014, I think it was, when Warlords of Draenor came out. And that to me was my first real foray. I wish I had him. I'm pretty sure I race changed him at some point. Like, I don't even remember. Like, I wish I had him, but no, I don't. And it breaks my heart. First world problems. Breaks my heart. But it is without a doubt, like, the one thing I do regret the most out of everything I've ever done is that. And it's funny. All these years later, I find myself right back to Hunter 12 years later. But it's kind of come full circle in a really odd way. But yeah, no, I do not. I wish I did, but I don't.
Do you remember that character's name?
No, I don't.
Oh, man.
I don't. I wish I did. He looked cool, though. I'll never forget the armor because the dwarf looked amazing with the male armor that has one massive shoulder and one small shoulder plate. And I don't remember if that was from like Battlegrounds back then or how I got that appearance, but I'll never forget it to this day. Yeah, still. But I think he had a dark brown beard, if I remember correctly.
Total side note. I actually looked up the history of wearing one pauldron. You know, like some armor sets, you have like one pauldron.
Yeah.
That was never a thing.
Just fantasy, huh? Just for fantasy?
Historically, yeah, that was never a thing. And I had always thought about that. Like, you know, I could see where that could be a thing. Like if somebody was, you know, maybe an archer and wanted to protect that side, or, you know, like if they led in battle with one side.
Right.
I could see that being a thing, but I could not find any proof, any historical proof that just wearing one pauldron was ever a thing. So yeah, I think it's just a fantasy thing.
That's
strange.
Interesting.
Yeah. I do remember I still have my first character.
Damn you.
And I don't know, maybe after I'm done talking about it, you won't.
Okay.
So my first ever character was a warrior, and I think I quickly discovered druid after that. And the druid that I'm on today is my original druid, which is nuts. He's been through so much. But my first ever character was a human warrior, and I don't want to reveal his name, but then again, I do, so I'm gonna. His name is Just a Tip. And he continues to bring me a lot of joy.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
He continues to bring me a lot of joy when I see him because, yeah, it's just, you know, it's nostalgic and historic. And
what year did you make that character? Was it 04?
2004.
Wow, look at how much you've grown.
Yeah, dude, like probably a month after Warcraft's launch is when I got into it. I was playing, I've talked about it on the show, but I was playing EverQuest 2 at the time.
Right.
And there was so much hype around World of Warcraft that I was like, I'm going to try it. So I bought it and tried it, and I canceled my EverQuest 2 subscription immediately. Yep, done. I'm playing this. But he's still sitting there on my roster in the original vanilla gear.
That's awesome.
Just full-blown classic gear. And he's just sitting there. I think he's, I don't know, probably level 40, 50, something like that. Just never really touched him after that. So
interesting.
Anyway, I thought that would be a cool thing to cover.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I got something cool to cover. I saw someone in Stormwind the other day, and I am pretty sure I had seen their videos before. And so role players in Stormwind, they use TRP3. And you can put information in there, and on their, and I always read it. It's like a giant tooltip, right? And on the giant tooltip, but their out of character information, it said they had a YouTube channel. I'm like, well, I'll go check it out. Or I think it said Housing Decor YouTube channel is what it was. So I went to go check it out, and sure enough, this video was one of the main drivers for one of my remodels in my homes. And the one you saw last with the giant steps, it's like the old, like the manor steps, you know, like that came from this person. The idea did, and they have a really small YouTube channel, but they make amazing videos. I wanted to share it because I'm like, oh my gosh, if we can help you grow, I would love to. They are called V Decor, VEDECOR on YouTube. They do awesome speed builds for housing decor, and they're just awesome. They're so kind in game. Of course, I'm not going to say their character name in game, but just the nicest person. Great YouTube channel. Wanted to give this a quick spotlight. Go check them out. V Decor. That's youtube.com/@VDecor. I'm assuming it's a she. She's awesome.
Yeah. They have 256 subscribers and 10 videos, and they look like they are pumping them out. So go over there and sub. Let's blow this up. Let's get this person some views.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah. I loved I love what they're doing. It looks fantastic. But anyway, V, if you're listening, well done. You're doing excellent.
Breaking news. Brought to all of yous by the Goblin News Network.
Blizzard releases Midnight pre-expansion update trailer. In-game event is called Twilight Ascension. This is coming to us from wowhead.com. Folks, Midnight is almost here. Prepare for the battle ahead with new system updates and quest lines to uncover the sinister plot of the Twilight's Blade cultists. The World of Warcraft Midnight pre-expansion update launches January 20th, which we are enjoying. And then the Twilight Ascension questline begins, hey, guess what? Today as of release date. So that is coming out today. Look, pre-patch has been going. Like, we could take this 7 different ways. Let's start with our first hand experience. Like, the trailer was great that they put out. It was awesome. It's exciting. You know, this is an exciting time. It's a time that you only ever feel like once every 2 years, you know? And so it's exciting as a player and a fan to kind of have this like hype up, you know, this in-between hype up leading up to midnight. But dude, the pre-patch is out. I don't even know where we start, but I know we need to start somewhere.
Well, first of all, I'm very happy that they gave us a week to settle into the changes. I thought after thinking about it, and there's questions out there about like, why wouldn't they just give us Twilight Ascension when they dropped this? Well, as you and I experienced last night, there are significant changes to the game. And obviously we knew that they were coming. We've been talking about those changes coming, but Jibs and I we did not jump into the beta. Some of our friends jumped into the beta. They understood these changes. They felt the changes. We had not. And I would say that we are in the majority. The majority of the people out there did not jump into the beta to see and feel these changes. So I'm really happy that they gave us a week to just kind of nestle in with it and get comfortable with it and play with the UI and get your setup the way you want and realize that a lot of the add-ons that we relied on before are disabled. No longer compatible. They're gone. So they wanted you to go through, clean up your add-ons, get the stuff out of there that's no longer compatible, and start looking at the native things that they've put into the game and sense those changes. And we did. And that's what I have spent most of my time doing, except for the last couple of play sessions, which have been endeavors, but we'll talk about those later.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy we've had this week to do it. I'm happy with it. I'm very intrigued at how my character is going to play in some tougher content, because Jibs, we did some time walking dungeons yesterday.
Oh,
and we noticed some changes that were coupled with some changes that I found today going to old content, trying to kill some rares. And that came with the endeavors. And we'll talk about that part later, but let's talk maybe a little bit about our experience with just the time walking dungeons and the changes that have been made to the characters.
So I hopped in and on my hunter, and I'm like, okay, you know, I was going through my talents. First thing I did, went through my talents, you know, and just combing through it. I'm like, and it reminded me very quickly that not only did I lose the explosive trap, I lost the bursting shot, which I can't express enough, like how weird that feels, that not being there anymore. Because I totally feel like I'm missing a portion of utility. I feel like I'm 3/4 of my kit. Like I'm missing, you know, like I still need something. I feel like I'm missing something, right? So I'm adjusting for that. And so I get everything set up. And so I did the most logical thing, you know, like that every player does. Every player does this, right? You get your talent system done. And to go test this, what do? You just jump into a battleground. Worst idea ever.
Bad mistake, man.
It was
bad mistake.
But you know what? It was so funny. It was so funny. I don't know why I didn't go to a training dummy. This was so dumb. But it was so funny when you were in there, because it was the Battle of Gilneas, and which, for those who don't know, it's like domination. So you've got 3 points and you're trying to hold them. The more you hold, the more points you get. First 1,500 wins, okay? All right. So it was silent the entire battleground. No one spoke, because everyone was playing these classes trying to figure it out. And we were in this weird, I've never seen this in PvP ever since we've played this game. We stood and fought. Like, I mean, like one on one side and one on the other. It just kept going. And everyone was like taking so long to kill each other because of the changes. And they were trying to learn their class. Everyone was silent. And so, like, it was the most unique thing I've ever seen. We ended up, like, just getting smacked, you know, but I'm like, It was so funny. I've never seen that. And fast forward, we go to do at this point, I'm like, okay, I've lost some things. You log in. Our good buddy Ardeth had logged in. Another friend of ours, Carbris, had logged in. And so we're all in this dungeon together, Shrine of the Storm. I think, was that our first one together? I feel like it was our first one.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I was not prepared for the combat being slowed down like it was. I was not prepared to I'm running into focus issues, like maintaining enough focus right now. I was not prepared for the changes. And I don't want to keep monologuing because I really want your take on this too. But like, oh man, pacing is slowed down, hasn't it?
Yes. It's not your old typical time walking blast through everything, at least right now. It's not. The time to kill is certainly longer. I don't particularly feel that has as much to do with the number squish as I do the fact that we just don't have our full kits yet. So remember, like, once midnight comes out, we have another 10 levels to go to fill out our kit and to fill out our power.
Right.
So I think this is relatively a temporary thing. And typically when they do item and number squishes, they will do some tweaking in the subsequent weeks. So I think things will get a little bit more back to normal, but I'm telling you from an honest position, I did not mind the time to kill being longer. I actually really enjoyed the time walking dungeons that we did because the mechanics were there.
Oh, yeah.
And we were having to go through these dungeons as they were originally designed. So it will be very interesting to see how that, if it stays or if it goes. But it was very refreshing to go through slower, enjoying it a little bit more, and just not decimating every single boss.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I loved it because it felt, and I agree with you. I love it too, and I'll tell you why. It feels like classic combat to an extent in retail because everything's so much slower. Everything is much more thought out. I'm doing a whole lot more basic attacks. I'm waiting for focus to come back. Admittedly, I do look forward to getting that 2% focus buff on my hero on my Apex talent tree, when I'm doing that. But yeah, like it is slowed down significantly, which totally harkens back to classic. And I'll be honest, in the grand scheme of things, with all the changes we're seeing in Midnight, I'm glad that they've chosen to do this. I don't know if this is a byproduct of the numbers being squashed, I don't know if that has something to do with it. I'm imagining it has a larger part to do with it. Maybe not, but man, oh man, I'm glad they're doing this now with so many other changes looming. Like that, this is just, I'm still adjusting. Like I haven't even got a chance to log in today, but I know as soon as I log in, I'm still going to be still adjusting to this.
Yeah, I think part of it is the number squish, and like right now, if you were to go into some of the old dungeons and raids, you might run into characters or into mobs that you have a little harder time killing. That it's not just one shot wonder, and you're done, and you got your transmog and you're moving on. And over time, they will fix that, and that does have to do with the number squish. So, I think in part that is going to be an over time thing as they get to those items and get them fixed and tweaked and bring that number squish down so it's commensurate with where we're at. But at the same time, are they going to leave a little bit of that extended time to kill in there so that we can enjoy these dungeons a little more? I could be totally by myself on this. I know you like it, but our opinions could be just like the total casual, just chilling. I'm enjoying going through these mechanics and enjoying the time to kill being longer. I'd be very interested to read some of these things and see what people are saying about the changes and how it's affecting their time. It's like, no, I just want to blast through the time walking and get done with it.
Yep.
I'm just like, no, look at flowers, pretty.
I mean, I agree. Yeah, I like it. And that's another thing that stood out to me that I'll be honest, that was part of it, right? Like that we're not in Kansas anymore. This is not the same Warcraft I woke up to the day prior, and but also the transmog system updates. That system, it's pretty. I mean, they did a great job. The cost was much cheaper than I thought it would be for those first 10 slots. Man, I was sitting there working through transmog, and I thought to myself, this is going to take some people significant time to get used to. I think, like this is like that next step,
Yeah, I'm very happy with the transmog system. I think they did a great job with it. They put some really neat quality of life things in there, and I think that they responded to player feedback and lowered some of those initial slots for you. The first thing I was concerned about when I got in there and I had 2 slots, like the 2 slots they give you, I was like, oh my God. Because when you log in the first time, your character is in, like, there's no transmog on your character.
Right.
Even in your warband camp, in your login screen, you're wearing what he's wearing and you're rocking those visuals. So I was like, oh no, I didn't want to have to go through and do all my transmogs again. So it took me a second to find them once I got into the transmog. It was the first thing I did. Logged in, popped out my mount, went into the transmog system. And all you have to do is find the tab that says custom sets. And all your transmogs that you had before are all there, and they're beautifully displayed now. Much, much better.
Yeah.
So I was pretty happy with it. I was pretty happy with the transmog. I was pretty happy I immediately bought 10 slots, and I think I'm good. I really don't think I need more. Today I went in and I did a few different sets and then set them to the different situations. Mm-hmm. Like I have my set for when I'm in Founder's Point. I have my set for when I go into rest areas, and then I have my set for adventuring. And I liked that. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool now.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm a fan of the changes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was actually a bug from my understanding. When you logged in and you saw like what you were just wearing, and they gave everybody a free character slot. That was like their way of saying we apologize. So the first slot was free for transmog, from what I understand. And so I don't know how all that shaked out in the grand scheme of things, but because I felt the same way when I logged in. I'm like, oh, what is he wearing? Oh,
he looks like a clown.
Did I just come home from Darkmoon Fair?
Yeah, and it's funny too, but now that I have the transmog that I want on him, when I go into my character creation or character login screen,
yeah,
one of my pauldrons is the old pauldron. Just one.
Just one.
Everything else is my transmog the way I picked it, but one pauldron is effed up. And I'm like, okay. I did find one thing I didn't like though.
Yeah.
There's one thing I didn't like. And this is it's the same thing when you make macros. It's the same issue. Mm. You know when you have to choose an icon?
Oh, yeah. I know where you're going. Yep.
Yeah. They need a search function.
Yes.
For choosing icons for both macros. And now that you have to name and put an icon to each one of your transmog sets, I found myself spending an inordinate amount of time today trying to find the one thing I was looking for. It was my home set, the one that I wear in Founder's Point when I'm at my house. I just wanted a damn Hearthstone. That's it. And I could not find that thing because there are thousands of icons to choose from.
Yeah.
So if there were to be some kind of a search function, not just the filter function, because they have a filter for like items and spells. That's it. It doesn't do you any favors. You are going through thousands of those things to find something that you want. So one thing I didn't like.
I'm sure someone's going to add on for that, but honestly, I would love to see that added natively, like you're saying, it's searchable by keyword, because it's so true. Like that now, it's imperative to have, because it's important now to be able to put the right icon on your set, so particularly because you can drag that now onto your bar and change it any time, so there's oddly enough more weight has been added to that thing specifically, and so having that searchable by keyword would be fantastic. I ended up having to settle on just some images that I could find. I'm like, this will have to work for now, and I just had to go off color because I'm like, well, I know that'll reference my fur-esque transmog, just because my Cult Tyrann's covered in furs as a hunter. So like,
did you say fur-esque?
I don't know where I was going. It almost came out as chic, and I'm like, what is happening right now?
He's definitely not a chic.
Oh, definitely not.
That's S.N.A.R.K, bro.
Oh, my bad. But anyway, so what's exciting though, let's try to think what else we could talk about. Oh, the class changes. So I mentioned, me losing a couple things, and admittedly, and I'm going to you next. Playing as a hunter is very different. I have tried Beast Mastery, which I loved all the specs leading up into this point, right? Beastmaster, super chill. It's fun. It's chill fun now. It always was kind of mindless, but now it's just like chill, mindless, and fun. And I love it. Marksman, holy cow. Marksman feels legitimately like a sniper. I am legitimately watching targets down in the valley. I'm up on the ridge watching them. And it's crazy enough, they brought Marksman back to what it was before, I think it may have been before Dragonflight, when you could, when you popped your true shot and it would give your aim shot a faster bolt. That's back. And I'm just like, oh, that feels so good. It feels so good.
You're killing me. You're making me want to freaking get my hunter out of mothballs right now.
Oh, my bad. I will say I haven't tried survival yet. I'm really wanting to see the dual wielding aspect. Like that just sounds crazy and fun, as a hunter. But overall, like my class is feeling good. I'm still adjusting, but so far so good. How about yours?
I'm pretty lucky because I have a very strong healer. Like Resto Druids came out of all these changes very, very well. I did lose some skills, which is fine. I'm getting used to it. The one, I would say the biggest skill that I'm not used to not having is my bash.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when I'm, just in my regular healing forms, I would hit my bash if I was within 10 yards of a caster target and switch into cat real quick and interrupt them. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed having the ability to do that. And I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get healers back to healing and not, making them have to worry so much about mechanics when they're healing, because there's enough to worry about. 100% appreciate that, and appreciate that they recognize that and they want to make that our playstyle a little bit better and less stressful. However, I really would like to have an interrupt as a Resto Druid when I'm out soloing, because I don't switch into another spec. And some people might think that's super crazy, but I like to stay in my healing spec because I can still get the job done. Just taking my time, and I switch into cat form and do my thing. So that was one. The other one is that my Grove Guardians now, I used to have 3 charges for my Grove Guardians, and I would just time them out and just, kind of set them out one at a time if I needed to, or if I really got in trouble, it was a really nice, oh crap button that I could hit, just pop all 3 at the same time.
Right.
And that's gone now. Now it procs with Life Bloom, I believe. And you only get 1 tree. So it's like, well, so it gives you a little bit extra healing, and it automatically comes out when you use that skill. So I just, I'm getting used to, not saying that I don't like it, I'm just getting used to not having control of it and having it be like an extra, side utility for me. But other than that, my playstyle hasn't changed a whole lot. Different spells heal more. And I found through going through my healing stats, I found that my rejuvenation was like one of my top heals. And that's just a random plop it on, heal over time all the time. And that seems to be doing a ton more healing. So I really can't complain. Yeah. I'm feeling the changes too, but none of them are class breaking for me to where I'm like, I'm done. I'm not playing this class. I'm going to my hunter. Not yet. I'm liking it.
Come on over, baby. Come on over.
Oh, yeah, then we won't have a healer.
That's all right. Come on over. It'll be fun. We have cookies. Oh, gosh. All right. So Twilight Ascension is coming. This is happening today as of this episode release. So, man, oh, man, they came out with that trailer, and that's kind of like what the whole article was originally around to begin with, was this trailer, And I got to tell you, I'm excited for this event. I hope it's as enjoyable as some of the things, like we talked about last episode, like we were referencing Shadowlands and some other previous events as well. I can't wait. I know, especially after we've had this week to kind of work through our classes and get comfy, settle in, it's that new house smell ish. But, I'm excited. Pun intended. Yeah. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this Twilight event.
I am too. And we talked about it on last week's show about how many of WoW's pre-patch events in the past, in preparation for expansion launches have been a lot of fun. And I think this one will follow suit. It seems like it's going to follow suit. And when I say that, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of people in the Twilight Highlands doing this event because there's a lot to it. Now, for the auspices of time, we are going to go through these points very quickly, but we do want to let you know, if you haven't already been playing today on launch day, we just want to let you know what the Twilight Ascension patch is going to bring for you. So it is an event that ties in the storyline in between the War Within and the launch of Midnight. And you can do the event from level 10 to 80. So you can actually level while you're doing this. I don't know how efficient it is to level doing this, but just keep in mind that the Winds of Mysterious Fortune are going to be going on during the event. So I would assume it'd be pretty damn lucrative. If you want to just level doing this event and get the biggest bang for your buck, you most likely can. So they're going to put you through an intro quest. It's going to take you to the Twilight Highlands to infiltrate the Twilight's Blade, who is in league with Xal'atath. And completing the event unlocks the event account wide. So you're going to complete this quest line, then you just have to do it the one time on one character, and then the event is going to be open to all your other characters. So with Twilight Ascension, they're introducing a new currency called the Twilight's Blade Insignia, and that's also going to be warbound for you. So you can mix and match and trade and do all the things to your heart's content with your alts. Now that Twilight's Blade Insignia currency is going to be used to purchase rewards like catch-up gear. There's all kinds of new transmog items that you can get. There's world quests that are going to be part of it that reward 10 currency each if you do those. There's rare events that are going to pop every 10 minutes, which are small outdoor scenarios. And it's pretty much like waves of enemies, and you kill them with other players. And then there's a boss that will pop. Now, when that pops, you're going to be rewarded with Valor Stones, crystals, crests to upgrade your gear, and then one Twilight Blade Insignia, which is kind of a surprise, but you're going to have to do a lot of these events if you want to pick up all of the stuff that's available for you. So there's also a couple of weekly quests that are going to have Valor Stones, crystals, crests, and the weekly quest gets you 40 Twilight Blade Insignia. So at the very least, if you do the 2 weeklies, you will get 80 Twilight Blade Insignia as currency. So the things that you can get, there's a lot of rewards that you can buy with that currency. There's tons of transmogs, which go for 30 to 50 currency each. There's a bunch of housing items, which is new stuff that you haven't seen before. There's a mount for 100 of the currency. There's pets and toys, both for 30 of the currency. There's new achievements. If you want, I know we went through it very quickly, but if you want a very good synopsis of everything that's coming to you with Twilight Ascension, Mr. GM has a really, really good video on YouTube, and we will link it in the show notes for you to click upon and absorb yourself.
Yeah, agreed. And folks, by the way, I know there's something else that we didn't talk about today. All the decor updates. We'll probably talk about that next week. But my goodness, check your decor catalog and go look around at other cool things you can earn. And I'm pretty sure there's some things here involving that as well. So yeah, buckle up. It's going to be a great time. So exclusive now we're kind of taking a little bit of a turn here. Let me backtrack for a second. We're kind of taking a little bit of a turn just for a second, even though it's Twilight Ascension release day, because it's something you need to know about. Exclusive details of Northrend's redesign and The Last Titan is coming to us from Game Informer's official YouTube page. Folks, Alex Van Aken, the senior video editor at Game Informer, sat down with game director Ian Hazacostas, associate game director Paul Cubitt, principal artist Gabriel Gonzalez, and design director Maria Hamilton.
I think it's actually essential as we're building and trying to deliver a living world that we be able to tell new stories in familiar places, right? It would be so limiting if we said that the most iconic locations in all of World of Warcraft are off limits because we've already told a story there and they exist in a moment in time, and sorry, I guess we can never go back to Northrend. I guess we can never go back to some of these places. And so we're excited to really be able to tackle that.
Folks, this entire video, and I got a feeling that there's going to be multiples of this because you got to see some other people in there as well that are from the Warcraft dev team, that clearly they were a part of the recording. So I think there's going to be more videos, but this one was solely around Northrend and Quel'Tha the Lost, and the weight that's really being carried with the idea of redesigning these areas and like returning to these areas. And you know, this is something that we have been wanting to see Warcraft do in a big way for so long, Cash. You and I is go redoing the areas that we've loved, you know. And we know it's on the horizon now, especially after this video. And we know that there's a lot of weight that comes with this. So hearing it now from Ian, especially in this video, like, where's your head at with this?
I think that this is a testament to the fact that they know they have to get this one right. There's expansions out there that were really good, and there's expansions out there that were okay, and then there's ones that were like, yeah, whatever. But Wrath of the Lich King is an amazing expansion. It's probably like when people ask you what your favorite Star Wars movie is, and if you say anything other than Empire Strikes Back, you're just flat out wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong again. It's really any scene with the little green guy. But we may be partial.
You're wrong. Doesn't matter what your opinion is. The Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie. And I think it's the same sentiment for Wrath of the Lich King for a lot of people. And if Wrath isn't your favorite, then I'm just teasing. I flick nuts. That's what I do. Just teasing you. But I personally feel that had they gotten this one wrong or didn't do it the service that it deserves, going back to Northrend, redoing the zone, like a lot has happened in Azeroth since 2008, which is when Wrath came out, right?
Almost 20 years ago.
Almost 20 years ago, which is so crazy that we are
right
just launching a podcast for World of Warcraft in 2025, wow. 2026. I know it's nuts that the game still has the bite that we all remember way back when. It's a beautiful thing, bro. Honestly, when you think about it, it is a beautiful thing for them to have the funds, for one, to have a development team that is big and vast and has tons of resources that they can put this much back into the game all these years later and allow us to revisit a zone that has had progress. There's things might not have been up there, but when we get back there finally, we are going to see how things have progressed and how they've changed. And like what this brings me back to, and I think about this, like I have very fond memories of Wrath of the Lich King, very fond. But the biggest thing that I remember was a launch day for Wrath, when you take that boat ride from Stormwind and you head into that harbor for the first time. It was the first time that we had an experience like that, going to the zone and the music is playing and you're going through the icebergs and then you dock at port. Do you remember that experience, or does that particular experience stick out to you when you first land there?
It sticks out to me. I didn't have that the way you had it because I came in way later. But to this day, I do recall I had started because I've never, truthfully, and I'm purposely waiting for Heroic Tier to release. I'm purposely waiting for that to be at some point, hopefully in retail. Then,
yeah, I was going to say, we don't know if that's coming.
No, we don't know if it's coming. I hope it is. And with Legion Remix, I have to firmly believe that it is at some point. I'm waiting because I've never played the entirety of, truthfully, any expansion aside from, I think it would have been Shadowlands and most of Dragonflight. So I haven't done that yet. And I've been purposely waiting on old content as far as like 100%ing those things. So I did do that boat ride, yes. But I had like started the quest and then I stopped doing it after that just because I was just like, I just want to wait. And so, but yeah, man. And you're right. You know, you are sailing past, that is a vibe that sets the tone, right? Just like you were telling me the other day, Christy Golden's Blood Ties book. We have talked about that book so many times. Did it not set the tone right out the gate?
It did. And that's something that I forgot to mention. And I'm very sorry for doing that, but I have been devouring that book this week.
You made a paladin.
And yes, it sets the tone. And I now wish that I had read it 2 months ago, because things would have made, like Eretor would have made a lot of sense to me. Eretor, when you play through I don't even remember what that quest line was called, but it was a recent quest line that we had to tie in War Within to Midnight, and Eretor is a paladin that goes to track down Sylvanas. And I was I didn't really know who Eretor was. Now I do.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I mean, if you know lore, then you probably know who he is, but I'm not going to ruin that for you. It's really neat. Just going to tell you, you find out who Eretor is. But man, it really does set the tone. Fantastic book. Total side note. Pick it up and start reading it now. Totally worth it. Christy, outstanding work so far. I'm only like on chapter 10, but outstanding work so far.
Oh man, you are right in the thick of it. Oh yeah, that was a good book. Oh man, a good book. Oh, I hope she's at BlizzCon. I may bring my book. I want to see if she's there. If she's gonna be there, I may see if she'll sign it.
Oh my gosh, dude, I'm gonna watch you develop Tourette's as soon as she's in front of you.
You know what's funny? You know what's really funny? I don't geek out over like when we've interviewed developers before. It doesn't really bother me, right? Like I don't really like freak out. You put me around an author, you put me around someone who's like in audio, like maybe within the industry that's like an audio designer. I'm like, my name's Jibs. Can you sign my book, please?
I thought you were going to say abduct. Like, dude, no, you cannot abduct them. That is kidnapping and it is illegal. Frowned upon.
Oh yeah, no man, that's when I like. Remember that time you and I interviewed Drew Karpyshyn, like over a decade ago?
Yes, I do. That was absolutely nuts.
You want to talk about just dripping with sweat from nerves? That was me. Oh my gosh! But yeah. Anyway,
both of us. He wrote the Darth Bane series.
Yeah. For
Star Wars: The Old Republic. Fantastic author.
Oh yeah. But yeah, get back on the tracks here. But so to kind of piggyback off what you said, when you're talking about that iconic moment where things set the tone, and that tone from my viewpoint, because again, I haven't played through all of it and I'm purposely waiting. I've been in the zones and I've done things in these zones, a lot of stuff in these zones, but I've never 100% of the story. That tone, setting of the tone is carried throughout that whole expansion, I believe. And that there's a weight that comes with that. And that's the weight I hear in Ian's voice, the weight I hear in Paul, Gabriel's, Maria's voice, you know, like when they're talking, that they understand that how delicate they have to be, because of just how simply revered something is. You know, he said, quote, "Time has passed. We're telling a different story this time around." So not only do they have to honor what came before, but they also have to find a way to move it forward. I don't envy them. That's quite a feat. You know, that is quite a challenge. I know they'll just crush it, but man, that is it. To me, I'll capstone with this. I'm passing it to you. To me, what stands out to me the most is they realize the weight. They feel that burden of, we need to get this right. We need to respect this area. And that just stands out to me.
I really hope that people understand that a developer is never out to screw something up. Nobody shows up to work and says, "I'm going to F things up today." Nobody does. Everybody wants to do a good job. Things just like when you're really creating something nigh from scratch, right?
Yeah.
A brand new storyline from pretty much scratch that may, you know, it's obviously based upon historical things that are already established within the game. That is not an easy thing to do. Like, sit down and tell yourself that you're going to write a short story, and here's your tablet, go. Okay, what do I write? Well, you think they don't have writer's block? Do you think they don't have things that they're afraid aren't going to hit for people and people are going to love? And, you know, there's a lot of lore hounds out there that know this lore in and out, and they're going to pick it apart. So I think that's a big thing that they have to contend with, is making sure they're hitting the lore correctly, and at the same time paying homage to something that was so beloved back in the day. It's a tall order.
Yeah, agreed. And here's what Maria had to say about that as she continued.
I think it's an iconic place, and it's not just a zone or two, it's the whole continent, and that is, as Gabe said, a little scary, and it's paying or doing justice to people's memories of those places. Like Sholazar, for me, was one of my favorite places. I enjoyed the quests there. I enjoyed poking around. I enjoyed, you know, siding with the oracles and then later siding with the Wolvar and trying to get all the loot. I have fond memories learning about Titan involvement in Sholazar as I quested. Nax. I spent so much time in Nax with my very not so good guild. You know, we safety dance, God, the safety dance over and over. So there are memories there that I think anyone who played there are going to, you know, they're going to have. And we want to make sure that we're doing justice to those memories, but also telling the story that we're telling right now. And, you know, Northrend, we're going back there, and you're going to see what has changed, you know, what has happened. And that'll be based on time, but that'll also be based on the events that are unfolding in front of us. And so it's finding that balance of nostalgia and what's happening in the world. You know, how effectively can we hit those notes?
Respecting what was while bringing it into what is. I mean, again, you hear it in her voice. The weight that comes with this design, it's a lot, man.
Yeah, it is. And it shows that they are fully aware of how much people love the world that they've built. So, you know, the history of any place has to remain relevant in both it's the past itself and the new stories that they want to tell. When I look at it, I see it as the progression of events from old zones, making them into new zones, completely revamping them. And I fully believe this. This is the Warcraft 2 that everybody talks about. This is it. You are watching it unfold in front of you with the revamp of Quel'Thalas, the revamp of Northrend, the paying homage to stories that are old and retelling stories in these new areas as they slowly pick at redoing the entire world. That is World of Warcraft 2, my friends.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. I agree wholeheartedly. They absolutely understand the weight that goes into this, and they absolutely see this as like the zone that, like, okay, the events ended, but the people there didn't stop living there. Like, they weren't in like some pause loop like they were at in Drustvar when you started the quest line over in BFA, you know, where everyone's just like frozen in time. That didn't happen. So what would that look like if things were to move forward? What's that look like with the rumor has it from a couple Easter eggs from Dragonflight that I think it was Dragonflight, that the undead over there are acting a fool because they don't have a Lich King. So it's just like, you know, things kept moving. And I can't wait to see what that looks like. I can't wait to experience it. I know you're excited about it. And if I'm being truthfully honest with you, the expansion to me, and this is not a knock, please don't take it this way, the expansion I've looked forward to the most out of this entire saga was The Last Titan. The moment I saw that come up, I'd like, ooh, that right there. That. I can't wait to see that.
And I know it's far off. And I know that we have midnight. We're talking about The Last Titan right now, and we have midnight not even here yet. But when I think about the possibilities of what The Last Titan is going to revolve around, it brings me right back to what we're covering right now in our lore lessons.
Yep.
Which is the origin stories. And what happened with the Titans? How did they end up being a part of this whole thing? They showed up and now they're doing this thing. And how are they influencing the world? And that is going to be really neat to uncover when they finally release The Last Titan. But we have midnight first.
Yeah, we do.
And lots of things still to talk about revolving around midnight.
Agreed. Well, folks, if you want to check out the rest of this full interview, we'll have it linked over for you at the episode page over at AzerothMorning.com.
S.N.A.R.K. Online.
S.N.A.R.K. is online. Friends, we have kind of a funny one tonight. S.N.A.R.K. spat out HOA meeting, and there's a note that says, "Congratulations, you're the new president." So anyway, apparently this is the segment where we discuss the latest happenings in your neighborhood and then demand your opinion. Otherwise, we're going to double the money that you owe every month for your association dues. But tonight we're going to talk about endeavors. You had to see it coming. It just got pooped out. We're going to talk about endeavors.
Yeah, we started ours this week.
We did start ours, and they're pretty cool. So we're going to give you a quick down and dirty on what endeavors are and how you can take part in them. What are they? Well, monthly neighborhood-wide events tied to Midnight's housing feature. It's kind of like a trading post on steroids where everybody chips in to unlock rewards and decor. And once an endeavor goes live, it will stick around for about a month. And the way they work is your neighborhood will get a themed task. Doing those tasks around the neighborhood will fill a neighborhood favor progress bar. And tasks will range from very simple things like gathering some different quests, decorating stuff, to big ticket stuff like dungeons and raids and world bosses and rares and all that stuff. I jumped in today and we had a visit from the Mechanomes, and that's what's going on in our neighborhood. And I was doing everything from cleaning up oil slicks around the town square to fixing potholes to finding lost mechanical chickens. And then I ended up in Mechagon, which I love this fact. I ended up in Mechagon doing rares in Mechagon to help them out. Like, they're over visiting us and we're like, yeah, let's repay the favor. Let's go help you with some of your stuff. So there's a port directly to Mechagon where you can go and do some of those, and it contributes to your neighborhood favor progress bar, which is cool. So as your neighborhood favor buffs unlock, you're going to be able to get bigger rewards and more wares from the vendors. Now, you may wonder how these endeavors are chosen and how you end up with what you're going to get on your rotation each month. Well, in public neighborhoods, the server will pick it for you. In private neighborhoods, the neighborhood manager chooses it. And I assume this is what you did, Jibs.
It's me.
Yes. You picked the mechanomes, which was cool. It's really neat. Everything's themed. It's super cool. And then priority endeavors will override choices when events, patches, and holidays are involved. So those endeavors are going to take place during those specialized events that are going on in the world. Now, rewards and vendors, as the milestones are reached, you're going to get themed vendors that are going to begin populating the neighborhood. And then you're going to spend the currency. The currency is called community coupons, which is kind of freaking hilarious. And you can, you'll be able to buy decorative items that are themed to whatever endeavor you have going on at the time. The coupons are warbound, so you can move those also between your characters. And so there's some caveats here. The tasks can be group oriented and even give bonus progress, but there's really no built-in way to do this other than just grouping up. So there's a little bit of a disconnect there. I would say most players are doing them alone by themselves. I will say that if you go do the rares on Mechagon, they're way more difficult. You're not one-shotting rares right now. And I don't know if that's part of the stat squish or not, or if that is by design. But I'm a healer, right? So I don't have a ton of DPS, and I was still able to kill them, but they were taking chunks out of me. So I was having to actively heal myself, which is not the way it has been in the past. Because I've spent a lot of time on Mechagon Island, and I'm essentially one-shotting those bosses normally. So it's a little different right now. Just keep that in mind. So some players are reporting that some of the tasks are things that you would already do anyway, and they're feeling like it's a little bit less unique. And I don't feel that way, to be honest with you.
I don't feel that way at all, because if you think about it, housing isn't necessarily going to be for everybody. So for people who are part of the neighborhood, though, and even though they may not do housing very much, and this relates totally to our group. I'm thinking of one of our friends right now that is super into mythics right now, but they're not really into housing. However, they are part of the neighborhood. They were excited to be a part of the neighborhood. They have a home. They don't really do much with it, but they have a home. However,
well, our death better do is freaking due diligence. Start cleaning up some oil spots. Otherwise, we're going to double his association fees.
That's right. They're tripling your fees, boy. But so the fact that what he's doing is going to help. It's passively helping the neighborhood. I love that. I understand why they say that, because it's kind of reminiscent of the trading post in a way. However, it's not just all those things, right? It's not just, mythics, or like I know 5,000 honor was another one. And then I think raid bosses was, and you mentioned rares and stuff, but there are incredibly unique ones. Like, and I purposely chose the mechanomes, because when we saw that in the art, like leading up to it, I'm like, that just looks like crazy fun, And so when the mechanomes came over, not only do you have access to all the mechanome decor, like all kinds of cool stuff, but the whole neighborhood takes on that theme, right? So now I am like, did you do the challenge where it's like 3 compressors, like air compressors that shoot you up in the air, and you do 3 in a row without touching the ground?
No, I haven't done that one yet.
Oh, that's a trip. I got a spot for it. I can show it to you, but I don't want to ruin it for you. But dude, it's so much fun, because now you've got all this there's mechanomes everywhere. There's like rocket chickens all around the neighborhood. Like, it's a trip, man. Yep. There's one little thing that I've done where you have to go and recover the mechanical chickens that got loose from the pen. Yeah. And you pick them up, and you can pick up 3 at a time. And there's one sitting on each of your shoulders and one on top of your head as you run back to the town square. It's freaking hilarious. Yeah. So I dig it. One of the things that I really like about it is that you can shop in other neighborhoods. So you can get your community coupons, and you can go to somebody else's neighborhood to spend them. So if you're not into, the mechanical looking stuff,
you can go to another one. You can go to You Take Candle, which is the kobold one, right?
Yeah.
And you can get stuff from the Ringing Deeps if you want, which I like. I like that a lot. I do want to go through some of these themes, and I will ratchet through these pretty quick. But there's a bunch of different themes that can come to your neighborhood with endeavors. One is the Sporagar. Another one's called Deeper Home, and that's your earthen neighbors want to befriend roaming elementals, and there's all kind of problems going on. There's You Take Candle. That one's going to be fun. There's Friends of the Grummies. There's Home Sweet Home, which looks like it's a deeper home intent there. There's Artistic Aid, which is a blood elf art commune that's sheltering in the neighborhood. There's Reaching Beyond the Possible, which is the Drakthir rediscovering themselves to bring a passion for learning and new trade skills. There's Modern Mechanization, which is Mechanomes. That's what we have going on right now. There's the Consortium Consternation, which is a mysterious consortium in the neighborhood helping locals recover lost items in void storage. And then the last one that I have here is Smell Sensation, which is the frickin' Niffin. The ones with the northern accents. Oh my God, I love the Niffin. They are so... Hey there. Okay, hey there, then.
Welcome to Azeroth Theory.
God, they're so funny.
I love them. I think I went to a public neighborhood that had the Grummies in it. I think it was the Grummies. And they have coffee-themed items for decor. Like bags of coffee, like literal bags that you can buy. There was 2 different steaming mugs of coffee that you can buy, not to mention other stuff as well. It's just like, this is so well done. It continues to be a home run, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I love the what would you say? Coupons? Coupons, right? Yeah.
Community coupons.
Community coupons. Yeah. I love that system. I love it to pieces. It's fun to go and do those things. Like no one was on at the time. I spent probably the better part of 20 minutes just by myself in the neighborhood, just going through doing challenges and whatnot. And as more people got online, more and more fun, you know, like I love it, dude. I was out on the beach. Did you do this one? With the Mechanomes?
No, I was just about to before I had to log off and get ready for the show.
Oh, I don't want to spoil it for you then, but you're going to like that one. And so everyone who's listening, if they haven't done it yet, there's something that happens on the beach. But
I found it very homey, dude.
Yeah,
I found it very chill.
Yes.
And just, you know, listening to the music, just running around, watching, you know, it's, you know how you get those little hits of dopamine every time, like you clean up an oil slick, or you fix a pothole in the cobblestone.
Yeah.
And it says like, what does it say? Like community involvement or community outreach or something like that. It gives you like a plus every time you do something good.
I think it's plus neighborhood or something. It was real random.
Neighborly.
Yeah. Neighborly. There you go.
It's neighborly. You get a plus neighborly. And every time you do something, it comes up. It's like a little dopamine hit. Every time you're like, oh yeah. Oh, I got another one.
Yeah.
You know, and you watch your little bar go up, and it's just, maybe it'll get old. But I'm telling you, I don't think for me it's gonna. I know for you it's not going to. It's just, I really like spending time at Founders Point, and it has so far. I think the system is really, really neat, and I hope to see them expand upon it as more races come into the game, as more content comes into the game, as more storylines come into the game. They can have I almost said the Dark Brotherhood. You could have the Dark Brotherhood come to your town. They could have the Dark Moon Fair come to town.
Oh, yes, please.
Dude, how fun would that be to have Dark Moon Fair themed?
Oh.
Like, you know what, bro? Their caravan breaks down in Founders Point.
There you go.
You got to get them back on the road.
There you go.
How fun is that?
That's a genius idea. That's perfect concept.
Genius.
Oh, folks. Well, we hope you all are having a wonderful time this pre-patch. We sure are, and we can't wait to experience today's event that launched. Oh, the Twilight Highlands are going to be so busy with the Ascension quest line. But anyway, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back to close out the show. Be right back.
All right. I'll read the patch notes. Allegedly. Let's get this over with before my coffee gets cold and my patience evaporates. Numbers across the game are being reduced to improve clarity and readability. Yeah, relax. You're not weaker. You're not broken. You're not suddenly doing noob damage. The numbers are just smaller so your screen doesn't look like a goblin's text spreadsheet exploded. They're calling this a stat and item squish. Original. Again, as always, you hit just as hard as you did before, so stop freaking out like your DPS fell into a cataclysm and never came back. Oh, here's a good one. New players can learn PvP in the training grounds. That's right. Training wheels for anyone who immediately poops their pants at the thought of big boy PvP. Helmets included. Probably emotional support snacks too. Maybe like orange wedges or some shit. Remember? Like Pony League with your oversized baseball cap? Alright, cooldown manager update. They got their own now. No, you don't need a pacifier for your annoying cries. Yeah, weak auras is what we call deactivated. But you'll adapt. You always do. You adapted to talent trees. Eventually. And now we've got big boss warnings. Because apparently learning mechanics is hard. So the game just yells at you now. Hey, stupid. Move. Stop. Don't stand in that. Real cutting-edge adventuring. Oh, and apparently we're adding more ducks to some random pond in Northrend. Wait. No, we're not. But wow, wouldn't that be quacktastic? Holy Kaja-Cola! These notes are too long. If I read all of this, I'll be well past my retirement date and probably dead in this squeaky chair. You know what? Read this epic saga yourself. I'm bleeding into my lunch break.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here today on Azeroth Morning Radio. This was episode 18. We're officially an adult. Look at us go. Woo! Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed your time here, this is where we rely on you wholeheartedly. It goes without saying, we said at the top of the show, and we mean it, your dedication, your involvement, your desire, and your passion for AMR speaks volumes to us every single week. So thank you so much for all of you who like, who subscribed, who comment, who send us emails. Gosh, I have never been a part of a show that has an active email this quickly as AMR has. You guys fill up the inbox, and we just can't thank you enough. So if you've enjoyed this show, please leave us a review, whatever podcast app you're using. It really helps us out. And also sharing, or if you're on YouTube, liking and subscribing or commenting, it really does help us with the algorithm and all of that. You know how that goes. But honestly, what we ask more than anything is please share this show with one friend. If not a friend, maybe your Discord. Because truthfully, the only way this hearth grows is if you help us grow it. And we can't thank you enough for your continued listenership. You can always visit us at AzerothMorningRadio.com. Quick change there, folks. Our transcripts, we're going to be moving. We're not going to be hosting them locally there anymore. You can use YouTube's transcripts or Spotify's transcripts. Long story short, it was causing more and more load on our site, which was causing issues. Believe it or not, I don't know why, but it was. And so we have identified that to be the issue, and now are no longer having site issues, but unfortunately we're not gonna be able to host those episode transcripts locally like we love to do. But anyway, we'll have links there for other outlets as well for folks who need them. You can always learn more about us, and you can always get in contact with us there as well, or at the contact page. Gosh.
Friends, you can email us at azerothmorningradio@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Facebook at Azeroth Morning Radio, YouTube at Azeroth Morning Radio, Twitch at the same, and also on TikTok at Azeroth Morning Radio. Don't forget to send us your heroes' call topics if you see something that is amazing and wholesome out there in the world of Azeroth and beyond that you would like us to detail. We certainly will. We'll give you full credit.
Have a wonderful week in gaming, folks. We love you so much. Enjoy the event. Enjoy pre-patch. See you next week right here on AMR. Take care, everybody.
Don't forget to pay your association dues because Karen is always watching.
Job's done.